Alrighty, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. Let's go ahead and jump on back and take a look at what happened here yesterday. If you guys recall, we're kind of stuck between two. There's an echo. What about now? Can you hear me now? Go ahead and keep going here. So a little technical difficulty there, but let's go ahead and jump back to yesterday and we'll quickly go through this just to show you some of the notable rotations. I don't think I marked the open here. So if you were here yesterday, remember what we said. We're kind of stuck between two major biases, the bearish bias from the all-time high and the bullish bias from the lows of January. And if you look at where we are on the chart, this is an hourly chart here. You zoom all the way out. The all-time high has what is the word for it? I can't think of it right now, but a preponderance of bearish clues from the all-time high, and that's why, as this market sold off, we were expecting a much deeper sell-off. And then down here at the bottom end of the range here, you can see this was where we got, actually from the lows of the last couple of weeks in January, we kept getting good bullish clues. And then we got a really, really good bullish clue from the major low they made, the January low. And from there, you can see really nice bullish market up until they got to about 20 points from the all-time high, and then they brought it right back into the middle of the range. And if you were to measure the all-time high all the way down to the low of January there, 50% is somewhere right about 60, 20, 60, 30 in here. And if you look at where we're opening right now, or we're about to open in the market, we're sitting here at around 60, 20 to 60, 30, quite literally right in the middle of both major biases. And we've been talking about needing to get above some key levels for a much stronger bullish bias, or get below some levels below here to have a stronger bearish bias. And then what happens is it kind of gets the breakout, and then they obviously have been bringing it right back inside. So we haven't had a good, strong, higher time frame trend. They've just been kind of whipping it back and forth, albeit in a 300-400 point range. So there's plenty of room in here to be making money and trading. But again, the overarching bias, it's hard to determine because we are quite literally between, right in the middle of those two major biases. So yesterday, what we wanted to see the bulls do yesterday, and we'll just go ahead and bring this in, we wanted to see the bulls get through this level. And so if you're in the pre-market, you remember what we said. If the bulls can get through the previous daily close, which happened to be yesterday, basically the 61.8 retracement of the sell-off from Friday's high, right? Where all the bearish clues were on Friday, they got the big sell-off, we gapped down, and then we just bounced right around the major 61.8 retrace, which is the level we wanted to see the bears get below to have a stronger bearish bias, right? So got back up, and again, yesterday we launched out, but then failed right at the 61.8 retracement of that bearish leg, right? And then coming into this morning, interestingly enough, we just bounced at the 61.8 retracement of the bullish leg, right? So it's totally wonky inside of here. It's starting to get really, really messy. But I just think it's interesting to note that I told you guys we needed to see the bulls get through this level right here. And that's the very level we pushed to yesterday. And then in the overnight came right into and failed off of, right? So that's what we were talking about in our pre-market yesterday. Let's look at what ended up happening. So out of the open, you did have your long opportunity off VWAP, right? So there was the first opportunity to the tick off the roadmap level, gave yourself a nice 10, 20 point bounce with never coming back to that level. So first long off the VWAP turned out beautiful. First short off the back end of the roadmap level with a big bearish divergence on that higher peak. Also a great short opportunity. You even had a short off of the first roadmap level as it pushed out. The problem was it didn't even get more than maybe 2 points, 3 points back, and then popped to that next roadmap level where we got the rotation. So there was a short opportunity on the first roadmap level, gave you your scalp. You should have been able to get over 2 points on the pullback, but then it came back. So you got a scalp and then stopped out on the rest of your position. And then again, this beautiful short off the next major roadmap level, only to bounce off that previous roadmap level we just saw. And my computer is starting to freeze. Why today of all days? So comes right back in and bounces right off that roadmap level with a beautiful bullish divergence. So great opportunity there. Again, should have been able to get yourself a 5-point pop, and then it came back and then held the 200 on the bounce. So there actually was, this was a more aggressive trade, right, to get long here off of the 77.75 level. But then that slightly deeper pullback into the 200 with bullish divergence would have been the better option there, and that gave you the pop to the next high for the morning. So good opportunities there. Then we started to rotate out, and notice what happened here. For 4 tests, it kissed the roadmap level to the tick, or it failed one tick in front of it here, but came right up on these last 2 tests to tag it, and then that led the next sell-off where we got a bounce off the holy orange power level and the roadmap level that was a tick away from it. So again, some great rotations in here for you guys to try and make a little bit of money. You even got the bounce off the Hopel there, which is a very textbook thing with, I believe, some bullish divergence. But on those bounces, notice they could, and this is now 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of the roadmap level. They hold, but they don't have enough strength to break out, and they hold the back end of the 200 here. And this was a great short opportunity. You had a double top here between that last swing high, basically, and a much lower RVI. And there's that kiss of the back end of the 200 in the pullback, giving you a beautiful 20-point pullback. Never came back to that entry, and actually should have gotten way more than 20 points to the downside. And then on the way down here, you can see, unfortunately, that next tag did not work out. Probably stopped a couple people out on that little sweep there, and then went right where everyone expected the market to go. You had a bearish opportunity off the VWAP, and then notice that my little unofficial level, that it's not necessarily unofficial, it's just kind of a level that fills in the gaps between the major roadmap levels, that became the support, that then became the resistance. And then we held the back end of the 200, VWAP, the back end of a bunch of stuff right there, and came down. And then the bounce, the biggest bounce of the morning, was basically to the tick off the next roadmap level, where you had yourself another beautiful opportunity to get long, right? Bunch of bullish divergence on those tests. If you grab that level, 59.50 half, if I recall correctly, 50.75, you took on maybe 2 ticks of risk, and you got yourself a like 50, 60 point bounce from there, and then it kept going. So you got yourself, here's an example of taking a trade off a roadmap level, taking on basically 1 tick of risk, I think, and then getting like a 60 point bounce from there or more, right? So again, this is not just theoretical stuff. You can get a trade off these levels, take on almost no risk or no risk sometimes, and then land a 10, 20, 40, 50, 100 point push, right? So this is another example of that. And then on the way up, what happens? They pull back into the fast moving average and VWAP there for the first bounce. They pull back into Hopel and the roadmap level for the next bounce. And then as you can see, when they get through the next roadmap level, they pull back and use that as a support to then push up into the next area, where we get a little messy in here. Honestly, nothing really sexy right there. But then comes up, and then notice all the trouble we have right at that next roadmap area where you had a short to take profit at the next roadmap level below it, a peek through with a bearish divergence to get short again. And you can see all this trouble, and then all of a sudden it gets above there, pulls back, uses that level as the bounce or the support, right? Then you get the pullback to the 200. Once again, it breaks it by less than 2 points, and you get the next pop out for over 20 points. And then a second test right there that gave you 07 to over 30. So you're looking at 23, 24 point bounce. And then even if you missed your entry off these perfect levels, it pulled back to that next roadmap level where you could have got long 2 or 3 times here and made some money, right? The first bounce came right to the back end of the next roadmap level, where we then got bearish divergence and got a 15, almost 20 point pullback from there. And then of course, they had to bring it right back to test it again. And then from there, you got nearly a 30 point pullback from that level, right? And then on the pullback, there's that short off the back end of the 200 and that next roadmap level, bringing you down to take profit, hopefully in front of this one and hopefully just in front of this one, right? So kept going. Let's just kind of speed it up here. We could be here all day looking at this stuff. There's so many great opportunities in here. You can just see back end of the roadmap level as we're failing, back end of the 200, breaks out, comes right back to that roadmap level for a failure again. Bounces up the next roadmap level, holds the back end of this roadmap level. You get the point. And then we continue in the bullish direction after the little pullback, finding support again from the 2 roadmap levels here, 11 and 07. And then we ride the top end with bullish divergence on the pullbacks to the 200 as we launch out to the high of the day. Okay, so holds bullish divergence. There's a short off the roadmap level. There's a long off the roadmap level, again, with almost no risk. Pops on out, and then we get a bearish divergence off the next roadmap level for a nearly 10 point pullback. That was about seven points, and then comes up to kiss the back end of the next roadmap level that was just 2 or 3 points away, to then get a much deeper sell-off from there, where you then, my friends, got yourself some beautiful short opportunities off the back end of the 200 as we sold off. Okay, and then at the end of the day here, you can just zoom this in. They pull back. Notice we bounce to the tick off the roadmap level and then kind of toy below it. And then that leads the next bounce, where at the end of the day, you had 2 beautiful opportunities with no risk off the fast moving average to jump in long in the direction of the trend and hopefully take profit up off of. Oh, my screen is freezing. I don't know. This is weird how for days and days there's no issues, and then all of a sudden everything's not working. So then we push all the way to the end of the day, and what's the high of the day? The roadmap level, 1 tick in front of it, and we pull back to finish the day off, right there. So it pulls back, and then again, actionable trade right off. And again, my screen is freezing. Bear with me for a second here. Right off the, oh my Lord, right off the fast moving average. So there were some really, really good opportunities. And remember what I said, the previous daily close, 60, 65 half or whatever right there. That's what the level we wanted to see the bulls get through for a stronger bullish bias. And then in the overnight session, they kind of tagged into that 65 half, pushed through a little bit, and then as of that high, right into the very area we needed to see the bulls get through, we're getting this big pullback coming into the overnight session. And so in the overnight session here, what do we have? We have a very, very nice bearish market starting from the Globex open and giving you opportunities to get short off the fast moving average the whole way down, right? It's been an aggressive market to the downside. As you can see, never really getting back to the fast moving average, which is a sign of strength. And then pretty much every way down, and I'm sorry, my screen is continuing to freeze here, which is a little bit annoying. Give me a second. I just don't understand why the charts work fine on some days and other days the computer can't even think. So we keep on coming down. There's the back end of the FMA again. And then you can see here in the overnight, in the middle of the night, I should say, they came all the way up, finally got a strong enough bounce to test the 200 moving average where we got the pullback. So another, pretty much all the trades in the overnight for the short side took on maybe a tick of risk, maybe 2 ticks of risk, and you got all of these beautiful sell-offs, right? And now as we come closer to the open here, we'll just zoom it out here. Again, there's that tag off the roadmap level on the VWAP last night. Pulls back. There's the tag of the 200 all through this overnight session. And in just a moment here. I don't know what is going on. It's very, 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 very annoying. We then get this push, and my screen is continuing to freeze. So we continue to push here, only to bounce off the next roadmap level. Notice in the overnight, this was the major resistance, this roadmap level, and now that we got through it, they pulled back and they bounced right off of it where I got a trade this morning. It didn't give me like a 20-point bounce, but I got a really nice trade off the level, took profit in front of the roadmap level, got my scalps off, and it was a very easy thing, right? And now just as we were speaking, coming into the open here, you guys should have noticed the pullback right to the 200 and VWAP being the same level, and you got yourself a nearly a 10-point bounce off of it, right? So again, here's not cherry picking, just showing you exactly what's happening in real time right now. And you just had a beautiful opportunity to buy the first roadmap level for almost 10 points to the upside, and then buy the next roadmap level for almost a 10-point bounce to the upside again, right? So that concludes our review for the last day and a half. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames now and see if they have anything new to add. So let me try streaming again to Twitch. It's been I think that's what's causing so many problems.